All right, next up are the things that make saliva. All right, so the salivary glands produce and secrete about 1 liter to 1.5 liters of saliva every single day. Most of that is produced during meals to help form the bolus and moisten the food that you're going to swallow. 99.5% of saliva is water, like a lot of things in your body. You are mostly water. There is also a small amount of amylase, which is an enzyme that helps to break down starch. This is going to start breaking down starch right in the mouth so that that starch, which of course is a polymer of glucose, can be absorbed as glucose into the bloodstream very, very quickly. So getting this started makes it so that you get that sugar into your system immediately. Saliva also contains antibodies. Remember, those are those proteins that your immune system uses to bind to any kind of pathogen. And antibacterials, things that kill bacteria. It also moistens the food, helps to clean and lubricate the oral cavity. And this is an important function of the saliva that you make when you're not eating, is that it keeps your mouth clean and it helps to lubricate the oral cavity. And then it dissolves food particles so that they can be tasted by the taste buds. They need to be dissolved in water in order to be to bind to the receptors on the taste buds. So the salivary glands surround the oral cavity. You've got them on the right and left side. There are some unicellular salivary glands within the mouth. We're not going to worry about those. Those are going to secrete a lipase that starts to break down lipids in the stomach. But most of the saliva is going to be produced by these 3 extrinsic glands, which we're going to talk about now. The first and the largest is this one, the parotid salivary gland. It's right in front of your ear and it's superficial to the masseter muscle. It produces, 25 to 30% of the saliva in your mouth, and it has this tube, this parotid duct, so that it releases the saliva on the upper teeth. These submandibular salivary glands are cleverly located under the mandible, where you would expect them to be with that name. They produce most of the saliva, about 60 to 70%. They are here, and they're connected through this duct here that opens right into the center of the vestibule. And then the sublingual glands are under the tongue, more medially placed in the mouth. And they just produce a little bit. They have these little tiny ducts that open into the vestibule under the tongue. These are the orifices, the openings for those ducts. These little ones around here are the sublingual gland, and these 2 big ones here on either side of the lingual frenulum, these are the openings for the submandibular gland. And then the opening for the parotid gland is going to be up here. We can't see it in this diagram. So to finish up, let's see what these look like on our models. Our sagittal heads have these really nice parotid glands, very clear, and you can see the parotid duct there. You can see a little bit of the submandibular gland, but it's kind of hard to see. It's much better on this one, which shows the structures deep to these muscles. So here's the submandibular gland, and then you can see here is the submandibular duct going to the vestibule right there. All right, and so that's that. Stay tuned for the next episode.